Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. In our last episode, we found ourselves in a bit of a sickness condition. As you can see, the entire party has been plagued. We got into a fight right at the end of the last episode, and those enemies threw some diseased mulch at us, of all things. And while we won the battle, we were left plagued, and that's not going to be very good. We were on our way, continuing on our way northwards towards the town of Romney. We were stopping off in the town of Silden, where we got into that fight. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to make it to Sloop and then Romney in the condition we're in. We're going to die of this plague. So let's go ahead and head into the nearby town of Silden. Maybe something there can help us. Soaked for ages in the rank perfume of fish scales and sea salt, the wharves of Silden seemed more likely a home for a race of fishmen than the leather-skinned sailors who trod its wooden, planked docks. Traditionally the home of the less reputable, it was known for its shady transactions with the slavers of Greater Kesh. Let's see what we can find here. There's a shop, something mysterious, a tavern, and a ship that we can enter. Well, let's go ahead and enter that ship. James shouted at the ship. Appearing at the railing of the ship, a golden-haired man waved down to them, advising them to stand clear of the net that was coming over the side. "What ship is this?" James shouted. "The Mist Devil this is," the sailor replied proudly, pounding the railing with a fist. "Only ship fast enough to have slipped away from Captain Trenchard. We're readying sail for the Isle of Eortis at the moment." Ah, the Isle of Eortis. That's actually the home to a temple to the god of the sea, Eortis. Maybe they can help us. James considered for a moment. "How much for passage to the isle?" 30 golden sovereigns, the sailor called down. "Are you interested in making the trip? If so, come on up the gangplank." "Let's do it. Let's go to the temple and maybe that'll help us." They boarded the ship. Within minutes of weighing anchor, the Mist Devil sped across the narrow channel which separated the Isle of Eortis from the mainland. After an eternity of the distant horizon seeming to grow no closer, they eventually docked with the help of a river pilot. The Isle of Eortis. Mysterious as the terns and plovers who made their homes in the stony cliffs of the island, the Temple of Eortis' origins were clouded in myth. Inhabited by a splinter faction of the Temple of Killian, the priestesses who took up residence on the desolate isle believed their prayers would one day summon the ancient sea god from oblivion. Yeah, because Eortis is a god who was lost in ancient times. Let's go ahead and enter this temple. Well, it looks like there's no mandala here to study. Yeah, there's nothing there, so we can't memorize that. Let's try to become cured. The priest shook his head. "I'm only just now training to be a healer," he said, directing his gaze at the floor. "Until I have learned more, you will need to have High Priest Bela attend to any healing you require." Okay, well, let's talk to the priestess. James motioned to the figure across the room. The woman nodded, then made her way across the wooden floor until she was standing before them. This must be Bela. "Among you there are injured that need looking after. The ship should return here soon. I would advise you seek help as soon as possible." "But that's why we've come. The shipmaster in Silden said we could find a healer on this island who could help us." "You have been misinformed. I am not a priestess of Sung, and Eortis concerns himself solely with the denizens of his kingdom of the sea. He may act only on their behalf. Thus is his purpose, as deigned by the will of Ishap, the one above all." "When I was young, I was fortunate enough to have learned something about how the temples all worked. I thought I remembered that a god can sometimes be compelled outside his purpose in return for a duty of obeisance. "That is true, but Eortis is but a shadow of what he once was. Upon a time, before the Valhira warred with the gods of Bidkemia, his influence was as the depth and breadth of the seas, and all that moved across them. When at last he vanished, Killian assumed control of his realm, but here some essence of what he was still survives. We cannot communicate with a god that is lost." "But if we were to act on his behalf, do you think he would grant us favor?" "I cannot know. If there were more than an essence of him in this place, perhaps we could commune with him and learn his thoughts. But we of the Order of Eortis are the servants of a vanished god. We see his will only in very small ways." Perhaps we're here to serve that will. What can we do to help you? I can see no harm in your request, but I can guarantee you no measure of success or failure in your efforts. I can depend only on what the omens may tell me. Perhaps Eortis will stir from his slumber to grant his favor. Until then, the Mist Devil will bring you no longer to this isle. Could you at least give us an idea of where to start? You may be able to read the god's will in the falling of a sparrow, but some of us are not half so clever. Of late, we have had many tell us the Rusalki, who sometimes linger near the rivers, have become disturbed. If you may find them all and lay them to rest, it might serve your purposes. I will warn you, however, that many of these sisters of Eliam are wily and will find ways to hide their presence. Many do not wish to be sent into the halls of Lim's Kragma. You will need to be clever in finding them. This is my advice. Okay, so maybe if we can find these Rusalki and put them to rest, then the god will cure us. As they filed out of the inner sanctum, Bela suddenly dropped to her knees behind them. They rushed to her side, but she had already gained her feet as they reached her. I am sorry, she said breathlessly. Eortis' touch is sometimes overwhelming. Though I cannot understand the meaning of it, something in you has aroused his interest, and he has smiled on you this day. Good luck to you. So he smiled on us. Does that mean what I think it does? Let's head back to the mainland really quickly. And let's step out of town, just so we can check our stats. Yes, our condition is normal. We were cured of that horrible plague. Well, that's wonderful. But I do think we owe that temple something. We're going to have to go and deal with those Rusalki that they were talking about. That are probably... Rusalki are river creatures. They haunt near the river, so it only makes sense to me that they're probably going to be along this road here. We're following the river northwards. And that gives us a hint that there's probably going to be a lot of them waiting for us along the way. And our hit points, unfortunately, are not in very good shape. So let's head back into town, and we'll stay at the inn, get ourselves back to max hit points, and then we'll start heading north. While we're here, let's look at the shop. It looks like a magical shop. Let's see what they're selling. I'm willing to bet they're not going to buy weapons and armor from us. No, unfortunately. Well, we can buy more herbal packs if we need them. We could buy poison. Oh, and spells. Dragon's Breath. Flame Cast. Skyfire. Hocho's Haven, we know that one. Eyes of Ishap, we have that. Night Fingers, I'm not quite sure what that one does. Nacra Cicatrix, I don't know exactly what that is. Skin of the Dragon, we love that spell, of course. And Stardusk. It's a shame that they don't tell us what these spells do. That's only 50 gold. We may have to come back here later and purchase some spells for Owen. So what's this mysterious thing back here? James tried the lock. He moved closer to examine the brass-plated lock, but a group of sailors wandering by made him wary. No sense risking a night in the lockup over this. Let's leave, he sighed. Alright, let's go to the tavern. A tattooed dwarf stared at them. Smiling, he revealed a mouth full of teeth, which had been filed into shark-like points, and his black eyes seemed just as deadly. Sa'akai and Kossi, he said, speaking with a thick Keshian lilt. He motioned to a table that was nearby. Please, gentlemen, the game awaits you. Not feeling like beginning an argument with the strange Skashakan cannibal, James allowed himself to be escorted to a table where a deck of poker cards was stacked. The man was a gambler. Withdrawing a deck of cards thicker than those used for Linlan or Pashwa, he slapped it down on the table, withdrew a strange-looking card, and flipped it over. A woman was drawn on the face of the card. Call the Blue Lady, the man said with a drawl. The game is Pokier, the latest thing played by the Keshian dog soldiers. Have you heard of it? James nodded. I've even had occasion to play it with mercenaries passing through the local tavern. Although the gambler seemed disappointed, he continued. Uneven bet. I'll pay you half of what you bet since you already know how to play. What will you put up? I'm not interested in gambling away our money, forget that. What about this gentleman? James motioned to the figure across the room. The man walked over to join them. You'll bring ill luck on all our heads. I do not wish your business. Why do you wish us gone? If you're here, you have crossed paths with those who work for the Crawler. All who cross him die. You wouldn't happen to mean some men who were waiting outside of town, would you? I will say nothing more to you. I'm content as a living man. I can understand your fears. I will ask no more questions of you for now. He's afraid that we're sick because we ran into those guys at the outside of town, probably. So he's like, I want nothing to do with you. Fair enough, we'll leave him be. Let's go ahead and rest at the inn until we're healed. Okay, our hit points are looking good, but we're still not maxed out. Let's stay one more night. Not too bad, that was only 18 sovereigns total. Let's look at the barmaid. Oh, well, they're selling spoiled rations. We can't buy that. Let's not get our food here. What about this gentleman? The man scarcely acknowledged them. You look a sorry dog, James commented, noting the long look on the man's face. What troubles you? Today I drunk up the last winnings I ever made in Lancer's tourneys, he said, watching the swirling contents of his cup. From this day forth, I have to earn an unsullied day's living. James arched a brow. I wouldn't call being a lancer a sullied profession. No, the man replied with a pained smile. Not ordinarily, but I'm beginning to advance in years and my strength is not all it used to be. At the last Lancer's tourney, I bought a vial of Fatimore's formula. Unfortunately, before the last joust of the day, I was discovered drinking it. My lord rescinded my bond, and the master of ceremonies forbid me ever attending another tourney, so I may never again seek another noble employer. Reaching into his belt, he pulled out a small vial and slapped it into James's palm. All yours. I'll be happy not to see another drop of it in all my life. James squinted. Why give this to us? I'm not specifically giving it to you, the man said. You were just at hand when I decided to give it up. But to give you an understanding of why I'm giving it up, perhaps I should show you something. Pulling up the hem of his tunic, he indicated a puckered scar, which marred the flesh above his navel. Several of the knights I defeated in the tourney gathered together, and among them decided I should be taught a lesson. A hot iron shoved into your guts can be a very convincing teacher. That's a horrible tale. I feel kind of bad for the guy. Let's try our luck at barding. Oh, we did not too badly. 14 sovereigns. That almost made up everything we spent at the inn. Alright, let's get out of here. Let's start heading north, and maybe we can deal with this Rusalki problem and make our way to Romney. Alright, we don't have enough room for this vial he gave us. I'm going to give some of this food that James is carrying to the other party members. There we go. That gives us room. James, you'll carry that, and let's get on our way. Oh, it looks like our barding ability increased from doing that. James is up to 33%. Alright. Not too bad. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at our map like we usually do. We're here at the town of Sildon. We're trying to get to Romney, which is up here. We've got to make our way up through past Sloop and then to Romney. As always, we're going to keep our eyes out for any mercenaries or assassins waiting for us. We'll also be keeping our eyes out for any angry female drowned women. So when we came down here last time, we came along this side of the road. So let's go back up this way. I believe it joins together further up there. Yeah, I can see the road over there. It just goes around this little mountain here. There's a little house there. Let's take a look at that. Oh, there's some enemies. Let's get to it. Okay, we caught our opponents by surprise. Rushing forward, Owen desperately tried to recall what little he knew of temple magic. He regretted not having spent more time studying the texts on the Midkennian goddess of death, Lynn's Kragma. Within seconds, they were upon the ashen-faced creatures. Alright, so that should give us a free round in which to act. That gives Owen a chance to cast the spell that we all know and love, Skin of the Dragon. Alright, first things first, James is going to run up and engage this one here. Well, we missed. Alright. Owen, go ahead and cast Skin of the Dragon on James. That'll protect him. Next turn, he'll do to Gorath. Alright. We missed again. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Hopefully they'll continue to keep all of their attention on our 2 melee fighters. Alright, so Gorath is too far away to hit any of these, so let's go ahead and use our crossbow. 54% chance of hitting. Good, we got a hit off. So he's got a 55% accuracy on all of these enemies, but he keeps missing. I'm gonna have Owen go ahead and rest, regain some of that stamina he spent casting those spells. We missed, unfortunately. Still too far away. 53%. It's pretty much the same. This one's probably the best. Finally, we got a hit off. As you can see, if we even have these spells going right now, to protect our friends, they'd have long been dead at this point. I need to keep an eye on that and see when they start taking damage again, so Owen can cast again. Another good hit. I almost feel like at this point I really should cast a spell and have Owen do something offensive. He does have a spell called Flame Cast, which does area fire damage. If we cast at this farthest back enemy here, it shouldn't hurt Gorath. It should be far enough away. Excellent. Plus, our friends are protected. Did 30 damage to that enemy. Alright. Spells are still active, so Owen's going to continue resting to regain stamina. And Gorath's going to keep trying to hit with quarrels. See, ideally we should be hitting half the time with 50% chance to hit, but unfortunately it's 50% each time. You're just as likely to hit as to miss as to hit. This battle is not going very well for us. There we go, another good hit. Spells are still active, so rest again. Okay, the spell, I noticed, just wore off of James and Gorath, so Owen's going to have to use his spell this turn. Because James just took 21 damage, so quickly cast Skin of the Dragon. And we'll do the same thing to Gorath next turn. Fortunately, they all focused their attention on James this turn. That was quite lucky. Alright, so slowly but surely we're going to keep making our way through this battle here. You can see without Owen's help here, we would be in very bad shape. There's no way we could survive this type of battle like this. Taking that much damage every turn. Alright, James, get him. Okay, one of them's down. Two of them are down. Now this one's already taken 30 damage, and this one's taken just a little bit of damage. So I'm going to start moving Gorath in to start striking in melee range. They have quite a long movement range, as you can see. 25 damage. Too far away for James to... Oh, James is in bad shape. I need to heal him up, or he's not going to be able to do any damage. Good, they're all focusing on them right now. As I say, James isn't going to be able to hit anyone with his hit points in that state. His stats are probably very low right now. Alright, the third enemy is down. Alright, Gorath, you're up. A nice hit. I'd like James to get to the point where he actually has some stamina, where his strength is filled. If I keep moving Gorath close enough, they may not be able to cast. Oh, looks like the spell wore off. Yep, I'm going to keep moving close so it can't do that range spell. Oh, and that's the end of the battle anyway. We won. The creatures had vanished. Fearful the creatures might appear from behind, James spun, but found the menacing apparitions had indeed disappeared back to wherever they had come from. "They're gone," he said, his voice still raw from exertion. "Let's get moving again." Well, at least our abilities increased from that fight. Let's see what happened. James's melee increased, but it's not in good shape right now because of his strength being, his stamina being gone. And from all that crossbow use, Gorath's crossbow ability increased. Well, there's a house here. Let's go ahead and visit the house. Honestly, before we do anything else, let's rest for the night. Let's heal up a bit. There we are. James pushed the door open. "The place is abandoned," Gorath said, looking around the room. "Maybe the occupants left something behind we can use. Let's have a look." Well, a little bit of money. That was a heck of a battle. Alright, let's continue looking. Hopefully we can again get the jump on any ghosts that we find. Oh, there's some more right there. Now this road here, this connects the road that we were on with this road. That's where we were before. So it's all unexplored territory from here on out. Ice ran the length of Owen's spine. The enemy had been waiting for their attack, and now he was desperately trying to recall what little he knew of temple magic, and wishing he'd spent more time studying the texts on the Midkemian goddess of death, Lim's Kragma. Within seconds, there were ashen-faced creatures in their midst, leering at them with eyes long devoid of life. Alright, this one might be harder. It's only 3 enemies this time, though. I'm going to run right up here so that neither of these can cast. Now, Owen can do his old favorite spell, Skin of the Dragon. Gorath, go get this one. James will go this way after this enemy. And Owen will rest. Trying to stay in melee range of these as much as I can in order to prevent them. I think that prevents them from doing that long-range horrific casting spell that they do. Excellent. This is going a little bit better than the last one did, it seems. Oh, I forgot to cast on Gorath. I got a little complacent there and wasn't paying attention. He's still okay. He still has some stamina left, so his stats haven't been affected. And the first enemy is down. Alright, James, you're up. I'm gonna have Gorath rest to regain some of the hit points he lost. Because right now he's fully protected. Come on, James. Okay, solid hit. keep missing, unfortunately. I'm curious about one thing here. When we get back to James... Okay, James, I just realized... Let's check his stats real quick. Yeah, his melee is actually 46. It was only showing 33 before. I need to cast on James again, though. Because his spell wore off. Gorath still is okay. And his spell just wore off. I didn't have a chance to cast before that thing went off again. Alright, Gorath, let's go ahead and just get into this battle here. Another good hit. But they're still going. These enemies have a lot of hit points, it seems. Alright, that second enemy is down. With Gorath's help, this third one should be gone soon. I'm going to have Gorath rest, in fact, and have James finish this enemy off, actually. At this point, the enemy isn't able to cast that distance spell, because we're right up in its face. And the third enemy is defeated. Horrifying. Owen's accuracy in casting has increased, though, so that's useful. Up to 78%. So when I cast those distance spells like Flame Cast and such, we're much greater chance of them actually hitting the enemies. Alright, let's get back on the road. We're going to stick to the road for now. Whew. Something was buried here, though. Some more rations. These are good rations, so we'll take those. Make sure these are the good ones. Yes. And then a separate pile of spoiled rations. We don't want those. Alright. Let's continue northwards. There's another enemy up ahead. Owen. James stopped. With a puzzled look on his face, he turned to Owen. There's some men up ahead, and judging by their strides, I'd say they were guarding something. Perhaps we should avoid this area until we can find out what they're up to. Interesting, okay. I'm not sure what that means. Like, I'm just going to go ahead and fight them, honestly, in my opinion. The mercenary had been unprepared. Stumbling across the stony ground, half drunk on wine, he fumbled for his weapon. You'll be sorry the day you crossed Krondor, he spat as James advanced on him. Alright, well this one in the yellow pants must be the leader. It almost feels good to be like in a normal battle for a change. Without otherworldly, undead abominations. James, let's go ahead and protect you real quickly. And Gorath will menace this one. And he's down with one hit. Owen, go ahead and get in there. Nice. Oh, he's a caster. He cast Flame Cast on us. And killed his own man. That was awful. Alright, James, stay up here so he can't cast. Owen took some damage from that as well. And he's down. So I don't know what that was all about, but holy smokes. I was not expecting that enemy them to have a spellcaster. Unfortunately, we can't carry any of this stuff. But there is food and lodging here. Let's go in here and see. Maybe there's a place to sell our stuff. Is there a shop here? James rapped on the tavern door. Oh, this is one that isn't open until noon. All right, what about this other building? I thought this would be the tavern. This is an inn. Okay. Another gambler. We don't need to talk to him. We've already had this conversation before. The innkeeper smiled. Welcome, gents. It's going to be dark pretty soon. You should think about spending the night. Dangerous out there. Dangerous? Questioned James. Why is that? The innkeeper leaned forward and whispered, The dead have taken up refuge in these parts. They stalk the roads by night and have been attacking travelers. If I was you, I'd think about staying here tonight and getting an early start in the morning. Let's go ahead and rest. Yeah, for sure. Get some of those hit points back. In fact, let's stay one more night. So every time they keep talking about someone stealing some of our money overnight, I don't know if that's actually affecting us. Is that like a random thing that you might lose money? 72 gold a night. I just realized how much we've been spending here. Okay, we could buy rations if we needed them. We're in good shape. We don't necessarily need rations right this second. And that's another just random conversation we've already had. Well, we got 15 sovereigns back for playing the loot here. Alright, my health and stamina have increased. Barding is increased for Owen to 47, and our stealth. Our melee, our barding, our stealth, these are all things that happen in the meantime. So that's good. Both Goras barding's up to 11%. That's wonderful. I always knew he had a talent. Alright, let's go over here. Let's wait until noon. And here's a different inn. We've already had this conversation. Good day, said James. Without turning his attention toward them, the man responded, I normally enjoy talking to travelers, but today I'd rather just enjoy my ale. Very well then, James replied, heeding the man's wishes. Perhaps we'll return another time. 25 a night now. It's not worth staying in these inns. This is ridiculous. But maybe we can get some money off these guys. Another 24 back. Alright. And our barding ability is increased again. James is up to 34. Alright, let's get back to the road. From now on, I need to double check the price of these inns before I stay the night. Alright, so the next town over that we should be reaching very soon is the town of Sloop. Perhaps we can sell off some of this stuff and then come back and collect some of the items off these bodies. Before I leave, I do want to make sure there's nothing like very interesting on these bodies. Let's see. So there's weapons and armor on the first one. Weapons, armor, and some gold. We definitely want to take that. Weapons, armor, and a brooch that we could sell. Do I have any room left? Strange that I'm not able to repair my armor, it looks like. I guess those magical things don't mess up your armor's, magic attacks don't, I guess, mess up the durability of your armor, it seems, and so it can't be repaired from that. Alright, we'll come back if we can. In the meantime, let's keep our eyes out for even more Rusalki. Alright, another random house along the way. The owner of the house, a bearded man of about 50, obviously saw James approaching because the door swung open before he had a chance to knock. Good day to you, sir. Good day to you, sirs. My name is Buck Roush, and who might you be? James made the appropriate introductions, and the man smiled at them warmly. Then he said, The river's been fruitful this season. Can I interest you fine gents in some dried trout? Or perhaps you'd like to buy one of my handmade shovels, or maybe a torch? We don't really need anything right now like that. You don't know what you're missing, the man said, but perhaps you'll come back another time. Let's actually say yes. Very good, then step right this way, gentlemen. Wait until you taste my dried trout. I seasoned it with fresh basil and just the right amount of sea salt. He smacked his lips loudly as he led them inside. Okay, so if we wanted to buy rations, this is a place we could buy them. It's good to know. A little way station along the way, while we're slowly making our way up the river fighting, who knows what. Alright, night's falling. Let's go ahead and rest for the evening. Up. Something is nearby. Let's back... Oh. Yep, there's enemies right there. Let's back off a bit. And let's find out who that is. The man lunged for them. Obviously, their surprise advance had failed. Waving a sword over his head like a raving lunatic, the man shouted, "Defend yourselves! Defend yourselves or die!" Goodness, this guy's aggressive. We hit Gorath. Dang, he's got a good... Let's move Owen away, and we're going to cast a spell on Gorath to protect him. Oh, he's already running away. There's no way Gorath can reach him in time, but we might be able to shoot him. I think I might have just hit James. Well, Owen's melee ability increased from that. The enemy fled, though. What was he guarding? One ration. We'll give that to Gorath. And some more money and one of those shells. Unfortunately, we have no room for that. Honestly, what's on this note again? We don't need to keep this note. Let's go ahead and take the shell. We can sell that. Alright, well, let's continue along our way. There's just lots of random weirdos we keep running into. What's this? Keep out! Well, should we listen to that sign? I don't think so. Let's see what's awaiting us at the end of this mysterious road. A house? Some wells. James knocked at the door. For a long moment he leaned against the door frame as he waited, positioning himself so he could listen for the sounds of any stirrings inside. When at last it was evident no one was coming, he stepped back with a shrug. "Doesn't seem that anyone's about," James said. Interesting. Someone lives here. Let's take a look at these wells. Looks like there's two of them. Hope that doesn't do anything bad to us. Let's rest until nightfall. Now let's look at that house. Nope. Alright, let's head back to the main road. Alright, and let's once again go... We'll rest till daybreak and continue on our way. I don't know what all that's about. I see another house up that way. Making sure there's no more obvious enemies around here. And a path. Ah, a random ghost is here. Guarding this house. Let's protect James since he ran up there. That's good. The thing attacked James, so... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to hit the thing. Fortunately, James is protected by his spell. This is the kind of ghost that can deliver powerful strike even in close range, unlike the Rusalki. Now we keep missing. But Gorath keeps hitting it, so at least we're doing some damage. That one hit James, but fortunately James is protected by the spell. Once again, we hit James with the arrow. And a final killing blow by James. Whew. That could have been a lot worse. At least our abilities increased from doing that. James's strength increased, that's always good. Owen's melee once again is up, and Gorath keeps increasing his crossbow accuracy. Maybe he'll stop hitting James for a change. A man appeared in the doorway. His raven hair dusted with gray and the lines around his eyes hard. He looked on them with gravity, the weight of his stare deep and penetrating. "This is the house of Madame Hafra," he rasped. "Futures, speaking with the dead, rumors. We will require a payment of 50 gold. Do you wish a session with Madame?" "Sure, let's speak with her." James produced the requested amount and handed it over, following the tall man. Just before pushing aside a curtain, he halted and whispered to them. "Do not question some of the things my wife may say or do," he said. "We have recently lost a daughter, and it has shaken Hafra's belief in some of her abilities. Please, if she asks for acceptance, no matter what she may have said, please treat her kindly." Without another word, he shoved aside the curtain and allowed them into a rear room where Madame Hafra waited. Seated at a table, she wore a woven brocade vest over a lightly dyed peasant's blouse, and her hands and neck were ornamented with bright wooden beads. "Please have a seat," she muttered, waving a brightly nailed hand at the rude chairs set across from her. As she spoke, her eyelids fluttered, as if she were speaking through an alcoholic haze. "I may provide 3 services for you. We may speak of local rumors, I may tell thee the future, or I may speak to the dead. Which would you have of me?" "Well, let's ask her about the future." "Very well," Hafra said, with a weak smile, her posture relaxing visibly as she leaned back into the overstuffed cushions of her sitting chair. "We shall tell your future." Her eyes half closed, she looked dreamily at James, licking her lips as she spoke. "When you are driven on the longest road, you will seek to destroy the instrument of deception, but will find need to deceive those who guard the way. In the very last place you will find that salvation is with the man who seems a boy." Folding her hands in her lap, she looked on them serenely, her face beginning to resume the look of her age. "This is the fate I see for you," she said, the slight tremolo in her voice betraying a hint of nervousness. "The fates have spoken through me." "Well, we can accept that or reject it." "Well, let's go ahead and reject it." James snorted his contempt for the old woman's prediction. "I could have said any of those same things. I've heard virtually all those things from street lunatics." "Hafra!" Bella shouted, but it was shoved aside like a mere twig as the old woman lunged to her feet, her eyes blazing fury. Raking James's face with her sharpened nails, she howled in a voice that no longer seemed human. "I am Hafra! You will believe! You will believe!" Weeping openly, Bella moved behind his distraught wife, but rather than trying to console her, he lifted a stick of firewood and struck her to the floor. Standing over her unconscious form, he seemed poised to strike again. "What?" Confused, James flashed a horrified stare at Bella, but suddenly drew back in shock as another form began to materialize around Hafra's crumpled body, taking on the shape of a young girl. For a moment it hovered, its expression glowering as it stared at Bella. Then, with a hateful screech, it flashed through the air to pass through the walls of the house. "Go after it," Bella sobbed, dropping to the ground to cradle his wife. "Go and kill it. We are finished with the Rusalki now. Go!" Nearly tripping over the clutter of the small house, they rushed outside and prepared their weapons for the Rusalki who now awaited to kill them all. All right, well, where is this Rusalki? Can we see it? I'll bet that's where that path might lead. Oh no, there's some mercenaries. We don't want to deal with you just yet. Here we go. There you are, Rusalki. Alright, James, you're first. Oh, it's got quite a reach. Yeah, quite a movement radius, so let's quickly cast Skin of the Dragon and protect James. Gorath, there's no way you can reach it. Or hit it from where you are. So, Gorath, you're going to move over here. Luckily, James can go that far. Alright, Owen, just rest. Can we hit her from here? No, James is in the way. So, Gorath, you rest too. Perfect. Now she's in perfect line of sight for Gorath to shoot at. It's only a 45% chance, but that's better than nothing. Alright. 15 damage, that might have lowered its stats a little bit, maybe. Once again, he shoots wide. Alright, but it moved closer. Our chances up to 52%. And we got a hit. Now we're doing some damage to it. Ooh, a solid hit again. Alright, we're doing good damage to it. And every little bit helps, even when Gorath does manage to hit it. And that's the end of the battle. Alright, I think that was it. Let's head back to the house and see what's going on there. Bella said nothing as he led them inside. Next to the door, Haffer was sitting up, her frail fingers clutched in her hair, and a distant look on her face. As she regarded them, she looked more relieved than pained for her injury. "She is dead?" "Yes," James replied, "dead, or at least we may assume so. What exactly did we witness here?" "A foolish old woman who didn't wish to let her daughter go," she said, her voice trembling. Grabbing hold of Bella's hand for support, she continued on bravely. "After our daughter died, I sought to find her with my talents. I thought if I could seize onto her, we could keep her with us." "But that's not what you found," James replied. Haffer shook her head. "No, it wasn't. Instead, I found the spirit of the Rusalki who promised that she would bring our daughter to us if we would allow her to live through me to inhabit this body. For a while we believed her, but after several weeks, we knew we had been trapped by the creature." Feeling awkward in the woman's presence, James touched the woman's shoulder lightly. "I am very sorry." "Don't be," she said. "You freed us of a curse, and now we can begin to rebuild our lives without my daughter. For this I shall grant you a true prophecy, or at least one as true as I am capable." Looking deep into James's eyes, Hafra spoke slowly. "There is one you seek who hides in many guises. He will trick you and guide attention away from himself, but he is marked by his smell. He shall be the one who holds the key to an important mystery." "What is his name?" James asked, intrigued by the answer. "I do not know," the woman replied in shame, looking to the floor. "In truth, my powers are quite limited. I have told you all that I can truly see." "Enough," Bella said. "It's time you had some rest, Hafra." Understanding that the man wished for them to leave, James nodded thankfully to the fortune-teller and her husband. "Good luck on your new life together," he said, closing the door behind them. "I think you deserve it." All right, well, that was something else. Let's go ahead and rest, gain back any hit points we need to. And let's go ahead and deal with what waits for us at the end of this path. A group shambled towards them. Worshippers of Guiswa, the red-jawed hunter, the group moved in a disorderly clump, the hollows underneath their vacant eyes adorned with blood-colored whorls of pigment. Displaying a three-fingered hand, a ritual mutilation of the priestly caste, a large figure rasped, "Today Guiswa ordains that you shall be his prey." Alright, well we can't cast because of this guy, so let's do this. Let's run right in here. Owen, you're in on this too. First enemy down. James will take out this guy. Owen will help. And Gorath will go after this buccaneer-looking gentleman. We finish that guy off. And Owen with a killing blow. Yeah, seems like normal enemies aren't much of a challenge to us at this point, with all these ghosts we've been fighting. We'll go ahead and take the money. At this point, we should be able to go ahead and repair our armor and weapons. Very good. Let's go ahead and hand off one of these pieces of armor to the body so I can... Oh, looks like Owen doesn't need to have his repaired. Excellent. All right, and we've all got good quality elven armor now. I'm going to trade that kingdom armor for this elven armor here, because that'll sell for more. And we won't bother taking that sword. It's 73%. You know what? Let's go ahead and just repair it, though. Up to 94, we'll keep that. It's better than that one. All right. We'll check abilities after we looted all the bodies. Some poison corals. And some armor. We can't fit any of it. There's nothing we can put on the body to... Well, we could take the corals to make room on the body for something else. That lets us drop off this sword, take this sword, and repair it. Sorry, wrong one. Excellent. Then we can drop off this armor, pick up this armor, and repair that. Beautiful. And we'll hang on to these corals for now. I'm just realizing I think Gorath is out of regular crossbow bolts. He used them all up in those fights. Since he doesn't really use crossbows, since James doesn't really use crossbows that much, let's go ahead and trade out the normal bolts so Gorath can have them. There we go. All right. And the final body. Ooh, a new armorer's hammer of 6 uses. We do... Maybe... We'll see if we can do anything about that. I do need to get us some foods fairly soon. There's no way I can pick that up right now. A special lock chest. That's a mortal lock. Kingdom fools are born without. A lot of this, there is no doubt. They're born without a lot of... Trying to consider, yeah, they're born without a lot of bake. The Mordel, elven people, I'm trying to think how they might insult the kingdom people. Kingdom fools are born without a lot of this. That's a 4-letter word. I think I may know what it is. What are we all born without? When we're children, what do we not have that we then gain as we age? Hair. Alright, well, we got some good money for that. And now we can go ahead and drop off some of this other kingdom armor. Gorath, go ahead and hand this to Owen. We'll take this elven armor, we'll repair it. Beautiful. We don't really need this ring of Prander or this clerical oilcloth. We could use it to bless our weapons, though. Let's go ahead and drop off this potion that we don't really care about. We'll take the clerical oilcloth and use it a couple times. We'll use it on James's weapon. We'll go ahead and use it on Gorath's weapon. And then we'll use it on Gorath's armor. There we go. Now we'll take these back. Do we have... You know what? That ring might sell in a magical shop, I'm realizing. Let's think about it for a minute. We'll come back to that. All right, let's look at the second chest. A barrel of rainwater weighs 20 pounds. What must you add to make it weigh 15? What are we going to add to a barrel of rainwater to make it weigh less than it would weigh otherwise? Well, that seems pretty obvious to me. To make it weigh less, we got to take water out of it. How are we going to take water out of a barrel? Well, you could put a hole in it. Unfortunately, this is too many letters for the word hole. But the letters are here for holes. Maybe it's plural. Yep, that was it. Some money and a magical scroll. Steel fire. Well, let's go ahead and learn that. So let's drop this item off since we have room to do that, and we'll learn this spell. Owen has a new spell, Steel Fire. All right, I believe there was a third chest behind this tree here. This one is not a special lock one. This is just a regular chest. So, Owen, go ahead and cast Scent of Serrig, please. It is safe. Good. Can we open this lock? Let's try picking it first. And it's open. Oh my goodness. Now we do need to figure out how to take all this stuff. So let's drop off some items because this is some good money that we could get for this. I'm going to take a look at our items here. Let's get rid of this crossbow string. We don't need a crossbow string. And take a ruby. Owen, what do you have worth dropping off? We don't need 2 of these dragon stones. I don't even know if we need 1 of them. Grab a ruby. Gorath. Gorath has mostly good items that aren't worth dropping off. Alright, the shells aren't worth all that much, so that's good for now. Oh, and there's a 4th chest in the back there. Our spell is still active. This one is trapped. Let's not try to open that one. Without, of course, saving our game first. I didn't mean to call that episode 1, but oh well. Let's try to open it. Clicked on the wrong box. And they were able to deactivate the trap. Beautiful. Some money and another spell. Eyes of Ishap, which I believe we already have. No, we don't actually. It's a new spell. That's good. All right, let's go ahead and we'll drop off the shovel for a second. So just long enough to learn this spell. Take our shovel back. Now this is the item that we can use to repair our crossbows with. So let's go ahead and repair Gorath's crossbow. We've been using it so much. We can repair it up to 88%. And we'll go ahead and repair James's crossbow as well. I don't know if it actually needs it. Perfect. We'll go ahead and leave the oil behind. Take back those rubies. And we'll go ahead and take this ring that we can sell. All right, well that was a pretty profitable little journey there. I wish we could have gotten more of the stuff. I wish we could have taken more of the stuff with us. What is that over there? There's another box there. Is that one of the ones we already opened? No, that's a box off by itself. Two blessed swords. Oh my goodness. These would sell pretty well, I think. So let's go ahead and drop off some of the swords we're carrying in favor of that. I don't think we can fit them. Yes, we can. Okay. Let's take the good swords and get rid of these less good swords. We'll get rid of this 91% in favor of something of the 99. Okay, there we go. That was a fairly profitable little venture. You know, even though we weren't able to take everything that we found, we were able to take quite a bunch of good items. Magic. We got a couple new spells, and we were in pretty good shape, all things told. Let's just go ahead and look at the road here real quick. Let's see where we are in relation to our final destinations here. We're almost at the town of Sloop, so let's continue a little further north, and we should be at the town very soon. And there is Sloop. So we've made it to the next town. Let's see if there is a shop that we can sell our weapons and armor at finally. Let's head right for this shop here. Well, no, it's not an armor or weapons place, but it is a place where they sell jewels. So we can make quite a bit of money here. Look at that. 182 sovereigns. Can we sell these rings here? Yes, we can get a good 20 for that. Will they buy swords? No, unfortunately they won't. Okay, that's all the items we'll be able to sell there. Is there anything worth buying here? Nothing we need right now. Okay, but we've made it to the town of Sloop. While we're here, we'll be able to replenish our food and our supplies, get a good rest, and then we'll be in good shape to continue our journey the rest of the way. I see there's even another temple we can go visit. We're almost to Romney. We've almost completed our mission, and that's what we'll be doing next time. In our next episode, we're continuing on our quest eastward to Romney. I'll see you then.